A family on a mission to rescue their house from a runway.
We're ready to roll!
Will it survive a nail-biting chase through freezing fog,
I don't want any accidents.
over narrow bridges,
It looks like it's pretty close.
and under high-voltage cables?
If you hit the power lines, everybody around you could die.
This runway race is going to be nothing short of one massive move. St. Cloud in rural Minnesota. Home to the Gill family, Mary, Dan, and their two sons, Kyle and Kiefer. The Gills lived together in this house for 25 years, a tight-knit family who love the great outdoors.
Boys grew up here. It's nice being out in the country. That's great. We've enjoyed raising the boys here.
Youngest son Kiefer has already moved out of the family home and enjoys his independence.
Come on, bite it. Bite it.
Right?
Now elder brother Kyle is keen to get his own place, and he's been saving up.
I've worked pretty hard, the last couple of years. Now this year I've been working, 3 jobs, and I've been willing to save up and buy my own house instead of moving into an apartment or renting one.
With enough money saved, he's found the perfect piece of land, an old farm.
Well, this place, you got a lot of, field view. You can see, deer come out and stuff like that. It's just nice scenery and it's quiet. I don't know. I could probably be here for the rest of my life. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how the future goes.
Now Kyle needs a house to put on it. He can't afford to build a new home, but Dad Dan has spotted a golden opportunity.
We've been driving past the house for approximately 10 years. It was just a gorgeous home.
This 4-bedroomed house is crammed with features, and it's cheap to buy. But there's a catch. It sits on land owned by St. Cloud Regional Airport.
So we've got our 7,000-foot runway, which is adequate for most aircraft that operate in and out of this airport. We now need another runway in a different direction, and there's houses that are going to need to be moved.
We bid on the home, and we were awarded the bid, and we've decided to move the home.
Kyle and Dan plan to move the house from the airport to Kyle's plot 3 miles away. A tough trek for such a large house, but it's worth the risk.
We're excited to see that the house is going to be preserved and recycled. I mean, you really hate to knock a house like this down. It's a beautiful home.
House is in very nice shape.
Plans for Kyle's bachelor pad are well on the way.
And might put a fireplace, surround sound. I don't know, a big screen TV. We'll see.
It is a little bit large, but in the future, maybe a family and everybody will grow into it.
But moving the house won't be cheap. Although the house itself costs just $3,200, moving it will set Kyle back $41,000. Building foundations and refitting, a further $50,000. Finally, there's the $65,000 for his plot, bringing the cost of this venture to almost $160,000. With no money spare if there's any mistakes, the Gills call in seasoned heavy haulers, Ehrlichman Movers. They've been trucking houses for over 90 years. Chief mover is Randy Jonas.
I love pulling houses. I don't know. It's a huge challenge, and I do lose sleep, but it's because I'm excited to do it, not because I'm worried about it.
Randy's crew won't be alone. Dan is a builder, and there's no way he's going to watch from the sidelines. He's even dragged in Kyle and Kiefer. This is a big 2-story house. Even the garage has a room above it. It's over 66 feet long, which makes moving it a huge challenge. St. Cloud's roads are only 30 feet wide and very busy. Try going anywhere now, and this house will stop traffic and scrape the sidewalk. So the team has to separate the garage, cutting straight through this beautiful home. A drastic measure, but it's the only way this monster mansion will squeeze down these city streets. There's only one way to split this house. Slice it like a salami. Down the walls, across the floor, and right through the roof.
Cutting really nice. And my cuts line up. Successful again. Don't step on that spot. So now we have a skylight. The whole entryway.
The extreme surgery worries Kyle.
It'll come together real nice. We'll button it up and everything. Make it look like we didn't even cut it in half.
Now the house is a more manageable size. The crew face their first real challenge. Load up this massive mansion. Coming up, will the house survive liftoff?
Right now I just saw the whole beam go up about 2 inches.
And a slippery slide onto the road?
If it goes too fast, it could just slide right off the end.
In St. Cloud, Minnesota, Kyle Gill has found his first home with the help of his parents, Mary and Dan.
I'm excited to be out on my own and everything, and with everybody helping.
They've sliced off the garage, and now Randy's team face a titanic struggle, lifting the huge house off its footings for the move.
90% of the houses are not made to be moved. They didn't build them to ever be moved.
Although strong, this house was not built to be lifted. The joists that hold the floor joints together are made from recycled wood, much weaker than solid timber. So if the crew lift the house now, the heavy walls will lose their support. To reinforce the joists, they'll need to dig deep holes around the house and thread a rig of steel beams underneath. This will stop the floor from flexing as they lift the house and hold the walls steady on the long journey ahead.
If you don't put enough steel underneath here, yeah, you can have structural issues.
Kyle's brother Kiefer lends Randy's crew a hand.
They're family, we gotta help them out, you know. I mean, keep me busy, first of all, on the weekends, you know.
It's hard work. To get the beams in, the trenches need to be 5 feet deep.
Such a good digger. You can dig all day.
Dad Dan tries to speed things up with the mechanical digger, but he gets a little carried away.
I was pounding a hole in the concrete wall and slid into the trench and ended up with a flat tire.
Luckily for Dan, Randy's crew rides to the rescue.
Always gotta break stuff. It ain't too bad, I guess. Could have been worse.
It takes 3 days to thread 20 tons of steel into place.
Yeah! 3 feet. 2, 1. Up!
Just as they're ready to lift the house off its footings, the weather turns nasty.
It's starting to snow a little bit today. Tomorrow they're talking 5 below. The challenges in that is the hydraulics work slower. Obviously we work slower. It's just a little bit more challenging.
Randy risks standing underneath the house as they lift it to keep an eye on the hydraulics.
Just gotta watch all the jacks, make sure they come up evenly. Our jacking system's not unified, so I have to control each corner to make sure that it comes up even. Because if I'd come up more with one corner than the other, it could crack.
Against all the odds, the house lifts off.
Right now I just saw the whole beam go up about 2 inches. That's how fast they can jack them up, I guess.
Next challenge, slide this 70-ton monster onto a trailer. It's gonna take more than elbow grease.
Putting soap on the beam makes it slide a lot easier. We all smell pretty when we're done.
It's vital the house slides level.
The slope ain't right. It either won't come or it'll go too fast. If it goes too fast, it could just slide right off the end.
It'd be kind of exciting to see how they're gonna do that. I've never seen that done before, so hopefully it goes good without breaking the house in half, you know.
They lash the digger to the front of the house to pull.
Down a little on our end.
Something could happen, the house could fall, and people could get injured or killed.
Every cent of Kyle's savings is dependent on Randy's crew's expertise and some sweet-smelling soap.
We got our dollies rolled into place, and now we're gonna let the house down on them, and we'll be ready to back up.
They brace the garage with wood and attach it to a second truck.
Looking good.
These branches make it tricky lining up the convoy with the road.
Watch that tree.
They may be set to roll, but the route ahead is blocked by a major power line, which feeds electricity to the whole neighborhood. Hit or even come close to this high voltage line, and it could have disastrous consequences. The team has two options: turn round and head down the runway, or persuade the power company to raise the line. A dangerous operation, but it could be the only way to allow the house to squeeze down the road and start its long trek.
Anytime you're dealing with electrical lines, it is dangerous. Even if you're not involved, just being a bystander, just being around them, anything can really happen.
But it's getting dark. Too late to tackle the cables tonight, so the team must delay the move until the morning. Coming up, can the house survive its close encounter with the power lines?
I wouldn't want to be the person up there next to those things.
And a tightrope walk across a narrow bridge? In Minnesota, the Gill family have jacked up their son's starter home and slid it precariously onto the back of a trailer.
If it goes too fast, it could just slide right off the end.
It's 6 a.m. and the morning of the big move. The house has a hazardous trek ahead. Parents Dan and Mary are nervous.
It's a challenge. I like this kind of thing. It's exciting to me.
Pretty nervous. Everybody was up running around at about 5 this morning, so we're all kind of gearing up, thinking about things we forgot about, things we got to do yet.
There's bad news. The weather wasn't good yesterday, but now it's not just freezing. There's thick fog.
The weather right now, it's foggy and it's actually misting a little bit. Just so other cars can see us, I guess, is the biggest thing. And our guys too. We don't want nobody to get hurt. Getting a little anxious to get going. Just get it done with.
Get ready to roll.
Randy's crew has to guide this monster home 3 miles and faces power lines, a narrow bridge, and rough terrain with almost no visibility.
Can't even see our escort vehicles up there. It's so foggy. And I don't want any accidents, and we've never had an accident.
Just as they get going, they hit their first major obstacle. These high voltage cables serve power to all the houses in the area, including the airport.
If you hit the power lines, it could, everybody around you could die. They're high voltage and you just never know what's going to happen.
To avoid an accident, electricians must shut off the power. Otherwise, the electricity could arc under this 40-foot high house.
Awesome. Yeah, boy, you don't see that every day. I wouldn't want to be the person up there next to those things.
Randy's keeping everything crossed.
They got 2 boom trucks holding it up. So we should be able to fit through there, hopefully.
There's just inches to spare.
Right.
They pick up the pace. The whole family is out in force helping Randy's crew.
We're all out here. My wife's out here. Kiefer is out here, and Kyle as well. It's fun watching him. He's starting to get excited about it. He's a little nervous. He's got concern, wondering if we're going to hit trees and things.
I think I'm more nervous than anybody up there. Oh, there's a mailbox in the way too. Look at that. Oh, let's go.
Up ahead lies the most dangerous obstacle yet, a bridge crossing the frozen Elk River. It may be 120 feet long, but it's only 30 feet wide. This mammoth mansion just won't fit. The crew must jack the house up higher so that its walls hang over the edge of the bridge. A risky maneuver. The team has to measure the road, the bridge, and the house as they go to make sure they can make it and don't get stuck.
Probably the highest point, huh?
Yeah.
I got 27.6. Hard to judge. We're coming up to the bridge here in a little bit, and that's one of our biggest obstacles is to cross this narrow bridge with the wide house.
All eyes are on the guardrail. If it clips, this house could tumble to an icy end.
I hope it clears the bridge. It looks like it's pretty close.
Did Randy get his measurements right?
That's awesome.
Thanks to some skillful driving, Kyle's house just makes it.
We had less clearance than what we had originally figured, though. We had thought we'd have about 6 inches, and we only had 3.
With the bridge behind them, Randy takes a little breather.
We're gonna put Kyle in the driver's seat. He's got a Class A for driving semi.
Kyle does drive snow trucks for a living. The house should be okay.
Just stay in the middle of the road like you are, and pretty much that's all you got to do unless someone tells you you got to move left or right or stop.
Kyle's mom, Mary, knows he can't hit cruise control just yet.
They make it look easy, but we're not through to the end yet either, so we've got a ways to go.
Coming up, will Kyle's house survive a rocky ride over a field?
You guys ready?
And a slippery slide onto its new home? In Minnesota, Kyle Gill's first home has survived a close encounter with Powerlines and a brush with a bridge.
I hope it clears the bridge. It looks like it's pretty close.
But a few meters away from the new site, Randy's crew faces yet another power line. These cables can't be raised, so the crew has to head on a treacherous diversion across an old maize field. It's covered with deep furrows, mud, and rocks. One bump too many, and this house will go flying. So Randy must slow right down. The team will have to constantly watch and adjust the wheels to keep it on track and get this house home safely.
With the rough ground, you can't just drive fast or normal pace because it shakes the house.
This is trucking hell.
If you hit something hard, a deep hole or a big rock or anything like that, yeah, the dolly could slide on there.
Smooth and steady, Randy.
Almost there, so it feels good. Yeah, it's on the property.
You guys ready? One-time shot, I hope.
The team now face one final hurdle. Slide the house over this gaping foundation hole onto these wooden towers. Time to soap up, boys.
Get that ivory soap on there, you know. Important ingredient in this house moving.
The soap makes the beams super slippery. Push too hard and Kyle's house could overshoot and end up in the hole.
The house slid ahead 2 inches on the main beams. Could you back up?
The house has slid too far. Randy's got to act fast.
We wrapped some chains to prevent it from going anymore and got it straightened out, and she's lined up. It's right where it needs to be. It's within an inch. That is the nice thing about the soap. You can pull it anywhere.
Kyle's first house finally touches down. They'll reattach the garage later.
You guys all worked amazingly well together. So congratulations, you guys.
It's a new beginning for Kyle. Without house moving, he wouldn't have this house. I hope when it's all done, we'll have to stop back in here and see what Kyle's done with the place and how good it looks. Like, you can't even tell it's been moved.
A month after the move, the Gills are back at the house and making plans to fit out Kyle's new kitchen.
Go with a 26 deep, and then you can put the fridge kind of in there. It gives it a nice, cleaner look.
Saving this house from the wrecking ball was never going to be easy, but for Dan, it was the right decision.
Definitely worth the hassle. It's almost completed. Got a few little odds and ends to do, but it's looking good.
It's given Kyle a unique chance to get on the property ladder with a beautiful, spacious home.
Well, the house is pretty nice. I don't know, a big step in the life, I guess.
And Mary is pleased to see her son take that big step too.
It's scary, but yet it's exciting for Kyle. I can definitely foresee him staying here for quite a few years. And, you know, for future-wise, possibly getting married and having kids here or whatever. It's a definitely good move.
Thanks to a family team effort, Kyle finally has a place of his own.